Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mile High Sports Symposium. I am JT Matthews, one of your hosts, and I am here with the doctor, Nicholas Manning, at Dr_N Manning on Twitter. Doc, happy Wednesday. We are back in at it. We got some stuff to talk about, but how are you doing? How's it hanging? How's summer going? All of the good stuff.
Well, I'm for sure leaving.
I love it.
Yeah, had to rock that back again. We had a really good show last summer, so I was like, yeah, let's do it. Got to get the D hat out just in case people forgot. You got the Nuggets on. Those are our prime topics today, even though I do have a little bit of Rocky stuff I got to sneak in for you.
Okay. All right.
And the Avalanche are good too, and I'll probably be fine. All the good stuff. But you know what, man? I'm going to Vegas tomorrow for a little 3-day holiday, as our friends over the pond would say. Hey. They don't do that, I guess. So I'm excited. Some of my buddies some of the rare people I've known longer than you. And so definitely getting some of the old school band back together. The cool part is this is the group that I partied with like through my 20s. And the best part is we're all 40 plus dads. And so we're all like, hey, like we're going to be like home, but yeah, guys. We're going to go check the Kansas Nuggets game on Saturday. Got a line on tickets for the Summer League game on Saturday. Pool, did some craps on Friday. Try and come back loaded, all the things. So super pumped. For some reason, anyone's randomly going to be, if you're going to be, you're going to be in Vegas? Let me know. Just say. But super pumped about that. Fun. I'm excited that when I get back, one, I'm going to get back on my birthday, which is Sunday, which is dope. Two, we, as the awesome gents that we are going to be like running right into my man. I love you. You're relentless, dog. You're relentless. Right into Broncos training camp, man. And it's so weird as a kid growing up. Like you live for summer. Like I played football, loved football, all of that good stuff. Lived for it. That said, the last bell happens, you go out for summer. Like as it dwindles, it's like your soul gets sucked out. You get it back anyway, because what problems do you really have in third grade?
Right.
But now it's like it's hot. Got to find things for the kids to do. Rockies are terrible. You got to pay bills and stuff. Like, geez, all right, let's just get to fall. We're going to watch football. Yes, I said Vegas. I'm going to be there this weekend. If you're in Vegas, holla at your boy.
Holla.
Okay. What about you, sir? I went on a rant, as I normally do.
Just continuing the grind, enjoying the day today. Got outside, worked on my jumper a little bit. I've been playing basketball about once a week, which is, good for me. I need to get out and be a little more active. And, since I started playing pickup, my jumper has been non-existent. So I'm trying to get a little bit of a bag, give me something that I can do besides just be big in the paint. So I'm working on it, I've been taking Korean lessons on Duolingo. I'm on a 36-day Korean lesson streak.
Your son was telling me that he's doing it. How is it? For real?
Yeah, we're kind of having fun with it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Don't know how much
I'm so into it.
Retaining.
I'm so into that right now. That's dope.
Yeah, it's fun. It's it's really easy. You take 15 minutes out of your day. You do a couple lessons. We'll see how much I actually end up retaining when it comes to the end, or if I just keep plugging away. But I've been over a month. I've been doing it every day, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's dope. Hey, man, in today's age of stuff, right? There's so many worse ways to be using your free time than trying to learn another language.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You scroll and scroll, or why not use 30 minutes a day trying to learn some Korean?
And to be honest, American culture kind of sucks right now in a lot of ways.
A little bit. I'm a little tired of it, and trying to. We just watched a K-pop movie first time the whole way through for me. Phenomenal.
Great movie.
Phenomenal.
Great.
Makes
music.
me want to go to Korea. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I didn't know I was a pop head until just now.
Same. But yeah, I mean, let's
My youngsters, we're talking about other old men, so we play some Wednesday evenings. We had an okay game once. Like we played okay on
I
Wednesday. We
played
were
bad.
getting boards. I was like, I had like in between. I had my hustle game on. I was dropping some solid
you were running.
dimes. My outside shooting was like, I was probably like 30% from three, which is not good. When you're jacking up 40, like just
right. I mean, it's just, like,
we couldn't buy that we're tired old men, like no one can buy a layup by the third or fourth game or whatever it was, like just sneaking over, like it won't get over the rim or about like, all right, guys, we gotta, all right. We all see it. It's like, as long as we feel it, like,
right,
for sure.
Right. But, I was super gassed last week, and it's because I didn't take care of I'm learning as I get older. Like, I gotta like prepare to do something athletic. I can't just like not eat all day and then go play some hoops and feel fine. Like I didn't. Yep. I ate just a little bit, like some cheese and crackers for lunch, and then I was like, okay, I'm good. And then I died on the court, like literally. Like I was like,
you got off the court. Yeah, you were.
I went and laid on the ground offside the court. Yeah. Not my best moment, but today I went a little carb heavy.
Got the juice back. A little carb heavy. See, yep.
I'm giving.
So Brandon said, right? Brandon was like, I didn't work out today, and my shot was in. Like you got to figure out what works for you.
Yeah. So I'm still feeling it out, but I'm excited to give it another shot tonight, and we'll see what happens. But I am more prepared.
Give another shot. Basketball pun. Yeah.
Oh, Victory Lap's asking both best skills for both of us. Well, it's not shooting for me, and it's not passing. Best so it's skills. Literally just being taller than most other people.
I think one, you're rebounding, right? Strong with the ball. I also think though you don't panic. Because I like when you get the ball, you don't have like a haste to get rid of it, right? So if you get an uncomfortable position, you're not a 3-and-D guy yet. So like, but you don't, if you catch it out there, you're not like, oh crap, what am I doing with the ball out here? You're able to survey and like see what's going on, use your body positioning to be able to get a pass around. So I think you do that real well. Your calmness.
I'm working on it. I think
that's dope. What's my skill?
Nick is speed.
I was a 4. Yeah.
Nick is shooting.
I mean, yeah, I was a 4-year basketball player, varsity for 3 years. But I'm 5'8" and stocky. Yeah, I got basketball speed. I don't think I have football speed anymore. I mean, like, it's just hard.
It's like quick. It's like quick versus fast, right?
Yeah, but it's like on a basketball court, I can like, if I get my shoulder down, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
So I think being able to break down a defense and distribute. I have learned to not over dribble. Trying to teach the kids, the youth, dribble with a purpose. Thanks, Steve Nash. So I try and work with his son Luke, who's a baller. Don't put the ball down unless you know where you want to go with it.
Right.
And so, court vision is underrated. That is for sure. And 100%. I know when my shot's not going, it's not because of these pipes, baby. Like that's not it. It's that my legs are a little tired, and that's also because I don't do long-term sprint training. I walk the stairs, which is a challenge. I wear a weight vest and everything. Like I'm that guy. But that is like an long-term slow endurance. That is not like do that, right? And when I play softball, it's not exactly a wear and tear on the old legs. So appreciate that. Drop in the chat what what's your guys' hoop skill, right? We got a $10 million cap budget for the Nuggets, which we'll talk about later, and they were going to use it on you. What kind of player would they get?
They wouldn't, but
drop it in there. Not you, but if they did. They did. Yeah, my man. I can picture. I haven't met you. I haven't seen the picture, but I guarantee I can picture like it when we meet, when we lock the eyes, my man. For sure. I'm gonna like, you look exactly how I thought you would. And I know that hook shot. I bet Jimmy on it. Jimmy sky hook it over. You got a little variance, little quick jump, my man. But hey, it's deadly, especially because what kids learn how to do a hook shot, like how to get one quick, get a shoulder around, right? It's all like I'm either shooting it from half court or shooting it from half court. I don't even see kids like attack the basket and get layups.
Yeah, that's a lot of shooting.
Yeah, it's a lot. But all right. Digression.
All right, we starting.
Keep us on track. You're the best part of the show. So
we starting with Nuggets. You said you got some Rockies talk?
Yeah, let's go Rockies. So I don't know
right.
if any of you know this. The Colorado Rockies have a baseball team. My girl Broncos for Dummies. She has like this great skit where it's like, I'm the Rockies. I'm baseball team. It's like, I'm the Broncos. I'm 3-time world champ. Like goes through all of the things, right? The accomplishments. It's like, I'm the Rockies. It's like, I'm the Avalanche. I'm the Rockies. That's exactly what it is right now. But everyone remembers Rocktober. Okay. Phenomenal stage in like baseball history. To make it to the playoffs, Rockies won 15 of their last 16 games to end the regular season. Like crazy stretch. In baseball, that's absurd.
Yeah, that's wild.
And that got them to a play-in game, a 163. So they had to win that game. And so they win it in the bottom of the ninth off Trevor Hoffman, who is a Hall of Famer, right? Matt Holliday comes around the bags, his face plants, is bleeding everywhere. He missed the plate, didn't miss the plate, whatever it was. Rockies go on to the playoffs, sweep through the playoffs until the league does them dirty and makes them wait almost 2 weeks to start the World Series. So they cool off. That's crap. So Boston could win. Okay. So a couple of years later, Matt Holliday gets traded. Not a bad deal. Houston Street, Carlos Gonzalez come back.
Yeah.
Anyway, Matt Holliday goes on to be a potential Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Phenomenal hitter, Silver Slugger, All-Star, yada, yada, yada. Comes back and signs the honorary contract and with the Rockies, retires Rocky. So again, kind of forever Rocky. He has two sons who are just absolutely phenomenal. And his first son gets drafted first overall by the Baltimore Orioles. And so his first son, Jackson, it was a shortstop and was the number overall pick 2023 or 2022. So 2025, of course, Matt Holliday beats out another kid who, let's see, where is it? Which one? Oh, yeah. Okay. Making sure we got the right kids because we got a few. Ethan Holliday. So the Rockies, who, because they're so terrible next year, can pick as high as 10th, even if they're the worst team in baseball history. So they had the 4th pick this year. They got to nail it, right? And of course, they need pitching. I always need pitching. But the fate lines up where Ethan Holliday, who, of course, on draft day, the Rockies post a picture of Ethan Holliday in his dad's jersey with like a little purple bat, right? On the field with his dad, gets drafted by the Rockies. And so just kind of like full circle, the best part about it is, one, I have no doubt that this kid his dad is a pro, right? No, not the Rockets, the Rockies. And he is all of 6'4" and 210 as a 18-year-old or almost 18-year-old. And to think like Matt Holliday is 45, I'm going to be 42. My kids are great. They like struggle with like violin, and his sons are yonking home runs to be a top, two sons, top 4 picks, and then they'll be drafted. And one of them gets drafted by the team that drafted you. Like super dope. And by the time that the Rockies have a shot really to like be good again, he'll be 21, 22, kind of, if things project, just like his brother, to kind of come in and be a part of, hopefully, good baseball here in Colorado. And so just overall, super dope. Followed a little bit about some of the stuff, some of the players that they've drafted. They've done a good job, which usually hasn't been the problem. The problem has been the money in the farm system and being advanced and how they get guys to get better. So anyway, that's my Rockies talk. So Ethan Holliday,
I like
it's our next beacon of hope. It'd be really super cool if you can wear like dad's jersey number and stuff. I don't know, but super dope.
Is he a shortstop?
He's a shortstop now. Being 6'4" is hard to be a shortstop. And so third base, left field, his bat. It's one of those they say his bat will play, right? Like he
Yeah.
is a power hitter like dad. So Jackson, the other son, is much more of a middle infield body, like 6'1", something like that, more contacty, gap to gap. Ethan Holiday is a nope. I'm launching tank shots, which make bombs. Oh, let's not say that. Make Blake Street bomb again. That's gonna be my new logo. Make Blake Street bomb again. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that one a little bit.
Got to be careful. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what it is. But as we know, marketing, one of the best marketing campaigns ever. Chicks did the long ball. So
that's true.
Ethan, if you hear me, just keep hitting the long ball, man. Hit 230 with 45 home runs, 120 RBIs. No one will care that he hit 230. You'll be a home run.
We could use that for sure.
Please.
Yeah, please. Sorry. Let's do some quick
transition.
Quick Nuggets talk. I know Victory Lab is not going to love our Nuggets talk, clearly, but it's okay. We got to cover some of it, and then we'll get in the Broncos. Want to touch base Summer League. Actually, let's start with Valanciunas. Jonas is officially a Denver Nugget. He has a year contract left where he'll make about $10 million. And right now it sounds like the Nuggets are not going to let him go play in Europe. And it sounds like he doesn't seem to be making a big fuss about it right now. At least we'll see what happens given some time. It was a little weird. He seemed to be in Athens for a little bit there. So I wondered if maybe that was really his plan. But now that he is locked up with the Nuggets, it seems like he's going to be the backup center for Jokic, something that they really need right now. And I am excited to have him. I'm excited that the deal is done. And I just think he is going to be a key piece this upcoming season to have some success. So we'll see what ends up happening. But I am excited that is done. It's official. And the Nuggets hold the power right now. It's a tough situation to be in to kind of deny your guy something that they really want for as far as long-term stability goes. It sounds like Jonas had a decent offer, at least 3 years for the team. I can't pronounce the name of it, but the Greek team that has they're kind of a mega team out there, so I'm sure he had some thoughts of just kind of going and being on top in the EuroLeague for a little bit. But I think he's going to be a key and integral piece to this team and going to give Jokic some rest. So I'm excited for that. How do you agree with that? Are you feeling good about that? Do you think that this could turn sour? You think it feels okay right now?
I don't think it will turn sour. I think, once the dust settles and, if you want to make 10 million, 11 million, 12 million bucks or whatever it is, you're going to come play for the Nuggets. And if you don't, then you're not going to play. Especially, I think, as this team gets rolling. Because, he is the best backup center since Nikola Jokic was the backup center. Right. I mean, it's been that long since there has been, I think, one worthy of note. And that move in conjunction with the Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Cam Johnson, that's each layer of the team, right? It's bench, it's shooting, it's another big to be able to play with or in place of. And then your more efficient replacement for MPJ, right? So each of those moves, in my opinion, was a tick up. Yeah, versatility, right? And so, I mean, even Jonas shoots 2 threes a game, and to go from a team that is by far the least prolific in terms of number of 3-pointers per game, you got to get back into the middle of that, in the analytic range, and having a guy like that can that can set really good screens. That boy's thick. The Jokic is a thick dude, and Jonas is thicker.
That's true.
And so I'm super pumped about it. It's one of those where it's he had a choice, and I bet that the agent could have pushed harder if they wanted to. I think that there was kind of an understanding between all of them, maybe give us this 1 year, and then we'll let you out of, or whatever that might be. Let's see how it goes. Maybe even mid-year, who knows? We have a chance to win a championship. This, in my opinion, is the best team of the Jokic era on paper, which says a lot because there was a team that won the championship. And so, but that is with him, not without.
Right.
And I'm a little bit more pumped actually about him than Al Horford as an option for the money, right? So the Nuggets, as I was alluding to earlier, still have a $10 million opportunity to be able to add to the roster. So, Jonas, plus another $10 million player potentially, or that slot to trade, you trade something plus that to get a more established $12 million player. But, that to me is more exciting than Al Horford at this stage, just based on what the Nuggets need. And so I'm super pumped about it. My man. Yes, I think it's a really good fit. He's making less money. I think he's a good player. He's going to be the third or fourth option. And I think he's okay. He's that kind of guy that's like okay with that. Made his money, made his mark, like go to LA, win some basketball games. So I like it. I would have liked Westbrook to stay. I would have liked the option because he would have made like $3 million, maybe $5 million, if he just opted in. And so for that money, like, sure, we could cut him and it's not going to be, it wouldn't have been that big. Yeah. Him leaving and Bruce Brown coming in, for example, much better fit. Him leaving and Tim Hardaway Jr. coming in, much better fit. So I would have taken either of those guys over Westbrook based on what this team needs.
I just think where they're more about with that, like, I really did like what Westbrook brought to the team this year. I think that
I loved it. Yeah, we talked about the tenacity, right? Like they needed someone that wasn't scared. And so for that, I appreciate him. I think
for sure.
I think that the Nuggets hopefully they learned that they can win and like not be someone's punk.
I just think like you bring a guy like Bruce Brown back, he knows the pecking order of things. You bring in guys that are hungry veterans that want to win. Like you got everyone rowing in the same direction. Westbrook has a propensity to kind of be a little bit off the beaten path when it comes to his agenda and what he's looking for, his minutes, that sort of thing. I think he is getting better about that, and he did a pretty good job with that last year and kind of bringing to Jokic. But I think there was obvious, moments where, it was not all harmonious. And so I think that the locker room you have now, with maybe the exception of Valanciunas, if he's really feeling in his feels about being here, I think everyone's rowing the same direction and everyone has the same end goal. And I think you're going to have a pretty harmonious and connected locker room. And I think that that's kind of the piece that I'm excited about. Ayton, I do think it's a really good fit for Ayton too, just to piggyback on what you were saying. You're playing with two elite playmakers. He gets to feast on some matchups. He's a good offensive center. He just is, he's an athletic anomaly when it comes to the position. Is he the headiest guy? Is he have the highest IQ? Is he the best defender? No. But I think offensively they're going to be better because he's there. Ultimately, I still think, Jokic can cook him. He's cooked him his whole career. So when it comes to a playoff series, it doesn't bother me all that much. But I do think it makes them a better regular season team and a better playoff team, depending on the matchup. So I think LA made a good move there. And then there was another question about, Beal to the Clippers. I think that's a really good fit for them too. They got rid of Norman Powell and they lost some ball handling and some scoring.
Yep.
I think Beal is cheaper and has that upside. I mean, replacing Norman Powell is going to be hard. He was really a good scorer for them, but
but even like getting him on a buyout, right? So you don't have to offer him. I'm not sure what they're going to offer him, but it's not what he made last year, and I love Powell too. I think Powell is a nice floor player, a little bit more versatile, but Bradley Beal is a baller. Like Bradley Beal is an all-star and Norman Powell's not and hasn't been, so good move for them.
All right. Summer League really quick. I just want to go over that. Summer League Nuggets are 0-3 in Summer League, which I don't think is too surprising when you look at the team on paper. There were some pieces, and it doesn't matter.
This is even less important. The score is less important to me in these games than NFL preseason games.
For sure. And that's why I've watched all three games. I like watching. I like the scouting process in NBA, but I also I just like it in general for all sports. So I'm always looking to see what young guys have. I'm a little ready to move on from Hunter Tyson. I don't think
Yep.
he's going anywhere necessarily. He's on the roster. He's not playing for a two-way contract.
Yep.
But if they wanted to move on from Hunter Tyson, he was not very impactful in his first two games. He was okay, but you expect more from a third-year guy. I just think that you can get more upside from some of these guys that are on the summer league roster now, or you can kind of fill needs a little bit better. I don't think Hunter Tyson brings anything to the team that it's necessarily missing or depth wise that you need another guy to do.
Yep.
He's known for shooting ability, but he hasn't really been a great shooter since he's been here.
Yeah.
He's a hustle guy, but there's 100 hustle guys trying to make rosters in the NBA.
Yep.
I just think, it may be time to move on from Hunter Tyson. I really liked.
But can I give you your flowers with that? Because when we were talking about this show a few days ago, that was how you were leaning prior to him being benched for one summer league game, etc. So this take originated early. So I just wanted to give you your flowers. This isn't a reaction take. This was like I think I'm ready to move on. And then it kind of bared fruition. So just to give you
their second game, he just didn't really do much. And like for a guy who's been on a team like the Nuggets for 3 years and has had some play time, you just expect that he understands the game a little bit better, is going to be able to bring more, and he just hasn't. So, if they wanted to bring,
maybe he can, and maybe he can go be at the bottom of the roster guy somewhere. But you and I talked about this throughout the season, right? It's like they need guys to come off the bench that are either well-rounded in everything, Bruce Brown, or really, really, really good at something. Hunter Tyson is not any of those things. He's not consistently well-rounded, and there's no like above average trait.
Yeah, I would say his above average trait is hustle, but I think that that's anyone that could be anyone's well-rounded like best trait, right?
For sure. So,
if you don't have,
to be a bench player, to be honest with you, you have to hustle. Like, and for professional athletes, I really appreciate that he gives some, but if you're running hard and you're not able to put the ball in the basket, stop people from putting the ball in the basket or grabbing the ball off the rim when people miss, then you're just running around, there's hustle to make plays, right? Keep the ball in, like just tenacity. And then there's just guys who put in good effort. And so, I appreciate that. I think that shows the saturation of our sports when it's like, we appreciate guys that hustle. Like, he's making like $3 million this year because Calvin Booth was like, let me sign you to a fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they end up landing on the last. I think there's one available two-way contract unless they decide to do something like move Hunter Tyson. I would say.
Oh, I think that they have a full roster opening. I think.
Do that? Oh, well, yeah, they have like one regular.
Yeah, and roster. and Hunter Tyson. So right, like that spot. Same with Zeke, right? Like you're signing guys that you can't even take a swing at. Some Aussie dude. Like, why not?
Yeah.
A guy that might have some upside because you fumbled the bag by giving him all of the bag.
But I like. I would move Spencer Jones up to the regular roster. I feel would feel good with him. He's played well in summer league.
Yeah, you've been a big fan for a bit.
And I think that he just does. He does a good Aaron Gordon impersonation if you really needed him to come in.
Yep. I think he's a well-rounded, smart basketball player. And I think when you're on the bench, you have to depending on who you're coming in for, right? Like, am I scoring? Am I rebound? Like, what's expected of me? And then I can do it. And it's not to the degree of Aaron Gordon, right? Like you said, it's Aaron Gordon light, but it's like I can run our offense now with this guy in, not to the same degree, but it's like that. So you either got to be, in my opinion, you got to be pretty good at a lot of stuff so that the drop isn't so bad. Or you got to be, a guy that shoots 45% from three, where it's like, we can have that trade-off because you're likely going to get 8 points on 4 shots.
Yeah. Tamar Bates, he's on a two-way already, and he has struggled, but I do think I see things offensively with his game that I like, and I think that given some time, he can develop those and become a good scoring threat. I don't know if he'll ever be good defensively. I mean, maybe good, but not great defensively.
Yeah.
Probably more middle of the pack defensively. And I do like Donovan Williams. He's been a guy that is a 6'6" guard. Just does a lot of like the little things well. He played, I think they said he played for 3 teams last year or something. Like he started, I don't remember where he started, but he ended up in the G League and then he ended up in Shanghai. So he had 3 stops, and he just seems like he understands the game. He knows where to be. He doesn't panic when that we played Toronto last night and they doubled a lot. They put pressure on the ball a lot. When he had the ball, I felt pretty good with the ball in his hands that he wasn't going to like get trapped and throw it away, that sort of thing. Like he seems to be able to handle playing in the league. I'm interested in him. I think Harrison, what's his name? I'll find it. Hold on. Harrison.
Well, here, let me jump in while you're looking.
Tyrell
Can I give so we got a little bit of this last game. Curtis Jones.
Yeah, Curtis Jones I like.
Yeah. So Curtis Jones, make sure I get the right Joneses. 6'5", needs to put on some weight. Always like $170 probably. Younger guy, at least in this sense, 23, but filled it up, 20.7 rebounds.
Yeah, that's the most
3 threes.
Yeah,
and it didn't look like he was trying too hard. And then Deron Holmes, I think, hasn't looked as bouncy as he did in like the combine process last year, but he is now about 12 months removed from an 18th month recovery injury usually, but he's been pretty solid, right? So I think this last game he had 15 points. I think all were 3-pointers in the first game. Like he scored 15 points, all were from 3. And so I think it's a guy that can do that double in the game on Saturday. And so I really like what I'm seeing. And part of it is just the long-term prognosis, right? Like I don't really want to expect anything from him, like where he's a counted on player until like February.
Yeah.
It's about 18 months, the conditioning, kind of like get through, knows how Jokic plays, like all the stuff, right? Been a professional for a little bit. So those are I'm really liking what I've seen from those guys on top of. So soaked for a better, for sure.
Yeah, the last one I'll throw in there is Tyrell Harrison. He's Aussie. He's the oldest guy on the team. He's 26. And he just does, like, he's just solid. Like, I don't think he does anything particularly great. I think he comes in, he's 7'1", he plays big. He plays physically, which you should at that size and weight. He is got decent touch around the rim, which I don't think is something that you can teach a big guy. You know, you either got it or you don't. And he rebounds the ball well. I think he's done enough where if they offered him a 2-way, I'd be fine with it. And a lot of times you'll see them do like, you know, 1 forward, 1 guard, 1 center. You know, if they've already got Bates as a guard, they've got, you know, Spencer Jones as a forward, then maybe you look at a center and bring him in. But it's been fun to watch. They'll I don't know when their last game is. Probably this weekend though, huh?
I think Saturday is the last game.
Saturday. Okay. So
it's Saturday or Monday, I think. So
we'll get a little bit more look at them, see how this team ends up shaking out. I'm excited to see who makes the roster. But we will move on to your Broncos since that's what we know. A lot of you have come here for. Why don't you kick us off? We want to talk about Jahdae Barron first.
Yeah, and you know, I think that's one of the storylines heading into camp, right? Is how good can this secondary be? That can't be realized if, you know, the Jim Thorpe Award 20th overall selection isn't a part of it. Finally signed his 5-year deal with the Broncos yesterday. And so, of course, right in time, deadlines, great action or spurn action, right? So it's like, yep, the closer you get to it, right? Thanks. All right, let's just go. Which again, with the slotted weirdness, it is weird. It's all verbiage really for it because it's all gonna be fully guaranteed. But the fact that he had been out there assuming all of the risk for all of camps without a signed deal, I think goes to show that they were operating in some pretty good faith, and he rewarded them with, you know, being what he needed to be. So excited to see how that shakes out. Because again, like you and I have talked about, where is his best fit? You and I both think it's kind of in that interior triangle, the corner, the slots to low safety. He could play deep half, but his versatility and being able to play and match up and provide run support, I think, is more beneficial closer to the line of scrimmage. So that's a big checkbox. As you have seen, not all first-round picks are signed. Nice job, Bengals. And so the fact that we aren't the Bengals is just another reason to be excited as a Broncos fan. So Jahdae Barron now officially a Denver Bronco. For sure. Have you heard the newest with?
It is nice.
Have you heard the newest with Stewart, that he is practicing at Texas A&M, and there's a likelihood that he could challenge the NCAA because he has eligibility and come back and play and then get back into the NFL draft for next year, which would be nuts, man, to lose a guy who is going to make the slotted amount of money, to fumble it so much where he's like, I'll go make a couple million back at A&M and then I'll do this again. And, it's just the Bengals.
I don't even understand how that happens though. How does this happen? Is it
because it's the challenge of the amateurism? Because of the amateurism, right? It's no longer amateur. They're paid. Yeah. So he never, you can't give up amateur status if you're not an amateur. And so therefore he has college eligibility and he can go back. He hasn't signed a contract, all that stuff. So or he could choose to go in the supplemental draft, right? Which he'd get selected pretty dang early. And I don't even know how that slots anyway.
I don't know either.
But dear goodness, for those of you who love the Cincinnati Bengals, my condolences.
Yeah, and I don't even know, if you're the Bengals, how do you get put in this position? You're already negotiating Trey Hendrickson, and it's we need someone.
Or you're not even Trey's bro, they're not even talking to me.
Right.
How do you get in there? Because they are who they've always been, and Joe Burrow made us think for a little bit that they were hey, maybe. They're no, we'll pay our second wide receiver one money, but our potential defensive player of the year candidate year in and year out of a bad defense, nah, you got to wait. And the guy we drafted to help our bad defense next to, even though we know how much money you're going to make and it's all guaranteed, we're not going to give it to you. Sure.
It's so bizarre, man. It's so bizarre.
Bizarre.
Couldn't be us.
Couldn't be us. Nope.
I'm glad about that.
Nope.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about guys going into camp. I want to talk. Last week we talked a little bit about the potential upcoming battles. I want to talk a little bit about guys that we're excited to watch and that we feel are poised to take another step. And then we just I want to talk a little bit about how some of these guys may fit into Sean Payton's vision for this team, for how they do or don't fit within this team, and kind of what their future looks like in the NFL if it's not with the Broncos. And so I'm trying to decide where to kick off, if I should go with the young guy or a newly acquired guy.
We're going to do both. So hit it with whatever one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say? Cut out for a second.
So who are we going with? Just which one? Pick one. We'll get to that one next.
Okay. Let's talk about Evan Ingram, because I think that's one that is a position. Was a position of need, something that obviously the Broncos were lacking last season and have been lacking. Let's just be honest, for a long time.
Yes.
Let's talk about his fit with this team specifically. I want to talk about and get your input on, what you feel his impact will be this year, given, assuming he's mostly healthy, or at least can give you a good amount of games. And then just kind of the tight end scheme for Sean Payton's system. So it's a lot I've just asked you to react to, but just kind of talk about the acquisition and your feeling going into the season with Ingram.
Yeah, I think that Evan Ingram and his use is one of the bigger storylines, because trifold. One, we have not had a really dynamic, game-changing tight end since Julius Thomas, right? So it's been since 2014. We've had one good season, 2015, of Owen Daniels. like 50 catches, 500 yards or something like that. And then we had Noah Fant, which by all standards now, like 60 to 70 catches, 700 yards, handful of touchdowns. It's been phenomenal. That's phenomenal production.
Right.
And so I like this. Nice job. I like that. You know what? I don't know. That's not it.
Could be.
But the utilization of the Joker, as I quote, he really, in my opinion, we're going to find out he is the de facto number 2. And to be honest with you, matchup for matchup, if it were, it's 2-minute drive down by 6, you got to get a score. What likely matchup do you feel better with? Portland on their number 1 or Evan Ingram on anyone else?
Right.
So my opinion, we might find out maybe that he's the one in terms of target share, third down, we'll see. But he is a piece. What he provides is nothing that the Broncos have had since Julius Thomas. I'd even say a little bit different. His ability, I think, more nuanced of a route runner than Julius. Julius, I think, much bigger contested catch guy, but I think Evan Ingram is a guy like a third down machine kind of tight end versus a, kind of big play in the corner guy. And so we'll get there, sir. I think that's a huge storyline. I think we'll know within the first week, we'll get to see a really good vision of, that's it. That's what he wanted. Because he's just so different from anyone the Broncos have had, at least in Sean Payton's time here, and probably for us to remember since 2014.
Yeah. I agree. I think, and like you said, I was going to maybe fight back and be like, is there a chance that he could end up being the number 1 option at some point? I think that'll probably be a little more matchup dependent. There are going to be games where you lean on Cortland and he has the edge. And there will be also games where you lean on him.
There was a thing, they had a bromance, a bowmance, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, now there's your next t-shirt.
That's right. Mine. So I'm going to volley one to you then.
Okay.
All right. So with that, I'm going to kind of, I'm not going to share the last one big, my man, just because Aaron Hernandez is a terrible person. But I do think ideally get some dynamic like that. Question I'm going to have for you is, I know we talked about position battles.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, what would be better for the Broncos? So not what do we think, all this stuff. So at the end of this year, the number 2 wide receiver emerges. Your options are Devon Bailey.
Okay.
Marvin Mims.
Okay.
Or Pat Bryant. So all the winner of this, or whoever this is, ends up the season with 70 catches, 900 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I don't know, whatever. Wide receiver 2 stats, 800. What would be better for the Broncos moving forward? Which player do you think would benefit the Broncos if that's their trajectory, that's their stat line going to end this year for the next year? What would be better for the Broncos?
That's difficult. I think that Mims is my pick for that. And I think it kind of goes into what we talked about a little bit last week, which was his ability to stretch the field, I think, is important. I think it's important for every team to have a guy that can do that and do so effectively and be a real threat, not just a guy that you have run on the outside that you know is not going to get the ball. But someone that you can consistently line up on the outside you're not necessarily running specific gadget plays to get him open. You're not running specific lineups to get him open. Someone that you can run kind of your traditional, sets and have him exploit his matchup. I think that's probably ends up being best for them. Again, I think Vele, we've talked about it a little bit. I think there's some redundancy if he was to pop. Now, not to say that he couldn't, if he did pop, then you're maybe talking about replacing Sutton with him, but I don't know that you would roster both necessarily, at least not for the long term. But I think the other close one is Pat Bryant. I had a brain fart. just more as for Pat Bryant, I feel like his trajectory would be more of a route running, chain moving receiver. Um, a guy that is reliable, kind of like your Jamison Crowder of the back in the day. Your guys
Okay. Yeah.
that could come
Like
in
that.
and give you a change of pace, that will run a route and get open on third down. They're not relying necessarily on athleticism. They're relying on good hands and good route running. Um, that's where I could see Bryant projecting to, more so than being a huge impact game player. I think he's got some upside to be able uh, to potentially develop that. But I think that is just as not maybe not just as valuable, but maybe in the system is just as valuable as having a long ball threat. Um, I'm trying to think back to some of the teams. I think you look at Cortland Sutton and you can kind of comp him to, Marquise Colston, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of receiver. So just trying to think of who would best complement that is probably an outside guy who can stretch the field. So that's why I kind of lean Mims.
Yeah. I like that. All right. I'm gonna go with Pat Bryant.
Okay.
One, because he plays the X position. My opinion, that's harder to find and more valuable. Because no matter if they re-up with Court or not, it won't be longer than Pat Bryant's contract. Right. So it would be good to kind of have that growth going, to be able to identify or adjust or utilize that resource for sure. So that's kind of my argument for. I do think, assuming all of the things stay the same, Court gets an extension, stays. I agree with Marvin Mims. If Marvin Mims is your clear 2 and kind of grows into his role, a little bit more diverse of a route tree, and I don't know if you can duplicate that 6-game stretch. Like, that was pretty fire, as the kids say. See how I use that? But I do think it is a part that the Broncos haven't really had a consistent deep threat to complement a Court. So I agree. Pat Bryant to me is kind of Court light, a little bit slower on 40. But I do think a guy like Marvin Mims, realizing that because of the dynamic nature that he is. I mean, mind you, it's punt returns and kick returns, but he was a Pro Bowler his first 2 years in the league. He's dynamic with the ball in his hands. And so I think for this team, the best long-term prognosis is a guy like that realizes it. And you get more of a Brandon Cooks, who is game in and game out, or year in and year out, the 1,000-yard receiver. Might not always be the most impactful, or the biggest star or whatever that is, because he's size limited. But a guy that really gives you a different dynamic. It goes a basketball conversation. Someone that has a very plus trait and speed at the receiver position. I mean, mind you, if you catch, I've heard is a good thing. So,
no, I'm with you. All right, I'm going to throw one to you.
Yeah.
I want to know what your feel is for Riley Moss on this team and potential long-term fit for him. I think that we both like Riley. I think we can both acknowledge that his health has been an issue and has maybe impeded his development a little bit. What's your feel for his impact this season? Assuming he's healthy, do you think he has legit CB2 upside, or do you think that he is a stopgap guy until you find that legit number 2?
Yeah,
it's hard. Some of it is hard because we haven't seen a ton. Like, we've seen enough on the field to feel reasonably confident, but maybe not enough to feel supremely confident.
Yep. Yeah, I think this year what I'll know when it's all said and done, right, is can he be a playmaker at the 2? Because I kind of look at it as he was Ronald Darby. He did have a pick. So Ronald Darby, I think, has had several seasons. Florida State alum, go Noles. but he is a guy right now. If you're going to get attacked as much, you got to make them pay. And so I'd love a little bit more gamble, more picks, kind of thing, more game changing plays because of how good the defense is. I think you can gamble a little bit more. And then with that, I think it will also give us a good idea on, is that good enough, right? Is Ronald Darby and Pat Surtain a good enough pairing for the next 5 years?
Right.
Or based on the division you're in with the quarterbacks that you're playing, the conference you're in, the quarterbacks you're playing, do you need, are you going to be better if Barron, who was a playmaker his time at Texas, is that guy? So for this year, I think the team would be most successful if Riley stays the number 2. Because I think that's the floor, right? Like if he plays well enough to keep the 2, that means he's at minimum playing how he did through most of last year, which I think is really good. I think Jade you're a rookie. I'm not counting on you to come in and be an instant impact player in that position. That position's super hard. Long term, I'm not sold on him being the long-term fit. But I also think salary cap structure wise, do you keep investing in a quarterback too, or is this one of those positions where you're drafting a cornerback kind of every year? Same with receiver, you pay one, you keep drafting guys so that you're not throwing money into both of them. And so long-term, I don't think so. Long-term, I think it's either Jade or they keep him doing what he is and they continue to kind of draft one to take over.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's hard. Moss is someone that I like and I think can be a serviceable number 2. I don't know what his top end is, and I think that's where we both kind of run into the issue is, is he a legit number 2 or is he a good placeholder number 2 and a good depth guy down the line? And I think to echo kind of what you said, I think playmaking is going to be a big. We need to see growth in that area for him to maintain that role. Like you said, he's got to get some takeaways. He's not just got to be solid. He's got to be impactful when he's out there, and he's got to win some of those tough wide receiver 2, matchups that he at times struggled with against some of the more elite wide receiver 2s in the league. And so as long as he can do that, I think he's serviceable. He's a guy that I am confident in coming into the season, assuming he's healthy, will learn a little bit on the fly, maybe have some lapses, but can overcome them. But I just wonder if maybe he lacks a little bit of playmaking in the long term to hold that spot for any amount of time. And maybe that opens the door for Jade Barron, who's a little more prone to take risks and maybe get burnt, but also, bring one back and score a touchdown. And so I think that will be kind of a key. I don't know about training camp battleground. We talked about the training camp battlegrounds, but as the season goes along and as we kind of approach the end of the season and are assessing the team moving forward, like, hey, does it make sense to pay Riley to be the second quarterback, or does it make more sense to take a risk and put Jade on the outside and see if he can hold up as well and create more opportunities? Because we know Barron and the way that he played in college, that was kind of his forte, is making stuff happen, right? He's not a passive, he's not a lockdown guy necessarily, but he's a playmaker. He attacks the ball. He goes hard after the ball. He tries to strip the ball, and that's just not what we've seen from Riley yet. So I think that he is one, as the season goes on, that we'll definitely have a better feel for. But I'm excited to see him on the field, hopefully healthy, and can kind of maintain that throughout the season.
Love it. All right. Mine is the development of Savion Jones.
Okay.
And so you had talked about it. That was kind of one of your thoughts last week, right? Really about who would be who's going to earn those third, fourth string pass rush snaps, which are super important. I definitely think the writing is on the wall for John Franklin Myers. barring something catastrophic in a good way. I don't know what that is, what that would be in reverse. Anyway, barring something like that,
Right.
moving the Broncos in a different direction, he probably isn't here next year. And I think Savion Jones and how camp goes, will provide them a lot of data on whether or not that is that cost-effective route. You pay Zach, Beans probably can't, or Savion give them some doubt, where they say, you know what, we can, or we'll feel the pain in 10 years and we got to do it. Let's just sign it and get it done. And so with that, what do you think? All said and done, you blink. What do you think? What do you think Savion Jones' role will be breaking camp week 1? And what his role in the rotation would be? Learning to ramp it up, kind of like trickled in. Really, intentional, all around rotational player, or a guy that's really maybe even pushing for first team reps.
Yeah, I don't know if we can count on first team reps this early on. He does, to me, kind of coming out of the draft, was more of a developmental pick. So I think there's still things he has to do, even just with his body, to kind of get the strength that he needs, get up to speed for the NFL game. So I think that, obviously a good camp will help him. And that what I see more is kind of your, I think top end this year is more of a versatile rotation guy, and a guy that we kind of got to get a feel for how he holds up against these larger athletes, these more polished athletes in the NFL. But, is he able to generate pressure? Is he able to fight through tackles and, get a running back on the ground? These sorts of things will really be key to his development. I think that he has upside. Obviously he's athletic. He has good length. He is a guy that, can generate some playmaking, but I think that he needs reps. I think that he needs some time in a system. But I think that he's in a good position to do that. And there are guys in front of him, and we've talked about it. As much as I'm an Ohio State guy, Jonathan Cooper, we need to see a bit of an uptick, I think, in his production as far as the pass rushing goes. So I don't think it's a lock. I'm trying to think of how to say this. I think there's an opportunity to find a spot in the rotation if some of those guys don't live up to this kind of. Yeah. Everyone's expecting everyone to take kind of a step forward, and if someone doesn't take a step forward, maybe he can usurp one of those guys. So, third down. Yeah. I mean, definitely. If you think that he gives you the best chance to get after the quarterback and generate pressure, then certainly, third down, especially 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and long situations, you roll them out there. But yeah, I don't know how much we can expect as far as upside to season 1. I think he'll make the roster. I think he'll be a good special teamer, and ideally he breaks the rotation and at least gives you one more depth piece. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, my hope, to be honest, is that he is not a consistent piece early. It either means someone got hurt or John Franklin Myers, they traded him or something, which he was the 12th highest rated defensive lineman on PFF last year. Not exactly, I wouldn't say like this gospel, but pretty damn good player. And if we're able to have a deeper well to pull from, I think that the Broncos will be in a much better position. I think that he, as in Savion Jones, I do think he, by the end of the year, my belief will be he'll kind of start chipping away like Malik Jackson did. Malik was a 5th round pick who just kind of came in and made a splash play once a week. And then if he can show that he can handle the run, because he's as athletic as any of them, but NFL strength is different than LSU strength, even though they do it right there. These are grown men all over the place. who are trying to feed their family. So it's a little bit different of a bear. I think his progress this season will be determined on how quickly he becomes at least replacement level worthy in the run game. Like, right, it's you're not losing much to be in, because I think that's an opportunity to. It's a good opportunity for him to be able to earn those, because John Franklin Myers isn't a phenomenal run defender, right? And who's the other Jones? Help me out. Who did they just say? DJ Jones isn't a great pass rusher, and so there's an opportunity for him to get a maximum amount of reps if he can do one or the other, right, and kind of be the third to the three instead of the replacement for JFM. So yeah, I concur with you. Last, maybe before we gotta go here in a few, Navali for us. The expectation for the Broncos are kind of all over the place, in the sense of, right, most of us in Denver are pretty bullish. We think the Broncos are going to be a pretty good team.
Yeah,
in totality. Nationally, I think that there is respect kind of for them to be in the hunt wildcard guys. What do you think, if you were to say, you know what, if I see this aspect of the Broncos, and take this however you want to, if I see significant progression through camp and the preseason, I will feel like this team is ready to challenge the Chiefs. So from start of training camp, going into the start of the season, so that time, right before we get to week 1, for you to bet $100 on the Broncos to win the AFC West, what aspect do you think needs to have the most improvement, or to whatever degree that is, and how will you know you're seeing it?
I mean, to be honest, I think it's got to be the development of a running game. It just has to be. Like the running backs and the running game we had last season, it was just too inconsistent. There were some games where they managed to put together, but in totality, decent efforts. But I think you relied too much on Bo Nix's legs. I think you relied too much on the short passing game and gimmick plays or set plays to kind of use that short pass as a run extension of the run game. I think if you can just generate good plays from the running back position, it's going to be. And I think that with the offensive line that we have, in a lot of ways, they may be a little more well suited to be a good run blocking team than they are a pass blocking team. And so I'm excited to see 2 legit guys behind them, and just let's see what this team can do. I think if you're able to put, and kind of, the barometer is, I don't know how many runs we had over 20 yards from running backs last season, but not many. I think that's probably something that you can point to. I also think just your ability to pick up short yardage downs, 3-yard downs, 2-yard downs, goal line, to be able to run the ball as opposed to have to throw the ball or have to run with Bo Nix in those situations. I just think if you can kind of control the pace and tempo of the game more with the running game than you could last season, then you take a step. I mean, I think we saw that with the Bills. They were able to dictate the pace of the game. They were able to kind of speed the Broncos up, increase their urgency by controlling the tempo of the game and the feel and flow of the game. And I think that is what separates a team that is a top tier playoff contender from what we are seeing, which is a lot of young guys with upside, but are still flawed at the end of the day. Right. Yep. So I think that running game is just a huge piece. And if you're missing that, it just makes it a lot more difficult. And so that's where I would go with that.
Love it. I love it. Just to give you a heads up, Javonte Williams' longest run, 20 yards. Jaleel McLaughlin, right? Speed guy, thinks 21 yards. Mm-hmm. Audric Estime, 21 yards.
Okay.
Tyler Bidet, 43 yards. It's kind of the game that we're thinking of. Bo Nix, 32 yards. Yeah. Right. So the one-hit wonder that was Tyler Bidet last year and your quarterback, if you remove those, the longest run you had all year, 17 games from a running back, or even just anyone else if you remove Bo and Tyler Baday's random audition, is 21 yards, right? And that's like, especially for Jaleel, you're supposed to be a big play guy, and if that's the big play, she's lying to you.
Yeah.
Ain't 6 inches. Ain't 6 inches, bro. I love it. So I think I'm going to move from that. I think that's a phenomenal observation on your part, sir. I think for the outside of that, because I would actually agree with you.
Yeah.
I do think it is, in my opinion, the next wave of it will be the utilization of the slot. And so what does Evan Ingram do and provide? And when I mean slot, let me say like the matchup nightmare. What does RJ Harvey do in the pass game? Like, what is now their mix match? We talked about like they got to have a guy that can get easy wins. Right. And on 3rd and 4, like I got to know like that guy can get it. You know, like that guy will get it. That guy will get open.
Right.
Who's going to be that kind of slot machine? Isn't that like Wes Welker, the slot machine?
Yeah.
And so to me, it's the evolution. Assuming what you said, that would be my one, and then I think Evan Ingram's utilization and what he provides, if there is a dynamic nature in that, or RJ Harvey as being the joker, where you're putting them in some significantly challenging decisions, and that comes to fruition, I think this team will be dangerous. You know, it's not just a good story team, you know, or feel good team. I mean, that it's a dangerous team, and you know, now we can score from anywhere, and that's been something this team has lacked for a while, right? So if you got Marvin Mims over the top, which I think is we're hopeful for, you got guys that can break a run of 20 or more, and you have guys that can win in the middle of the field. You know, like you really are a dynamic. Like we'll beat you. You know, you take away one thing, we'll beat you with one thing or two things. Yeah. And so that I think is a piece that we just haven't seen in a while. Having a dominant running game would be nice. I miss those days of just, you know, being able to see take the lunch money from another professional team. And I think they can do that if, you know, they really can't double anyone because Evan Ingram is a nightmare, which means then you leave court open, or Marvin's or RJ, or Vele, like guys that I think can be that. I also, last thing would be, if that isn't there, that's a move that they make before the end of training camp. If you don't see the progress with that, I bet that's one pit, like to get it right, they'll get it right. You know, I think they feel pretty good at the running back position now, but they've left themselves open to kind of go get a vet receiver, middle of the field guy, you know, someone to be able to come in. And now that we talked about, like, are they good enough there? I think we'll know by the end of camp. If they are, no moves, they feel good. If not, a move. And
right.
You know, what they're feeling. So yep, that's it.
Love it. Yeah, love it. We are going to call it today. I think next week, let's talk a little bit next week about potential guys we might see cut from this roster. Let's make some predictions, because I think that there's some interesting guys that kind of are hanging in the balance right now. Maybe guys that you and I have preferred in previous years, or guys that may just fall down the chopping block enough to end up getting the axe from a competitive team. So put that on your agenda for next week, listeners/viewers. I think that's something we'll definitely talk about. But we appreciate you. We always appreciate you being here and chiming in. Love the interaction in the chat. Victory Lap, thanks for throwing all that out there. We appreciate you and enjoy having you with us today. But everyone else, you know, feel free to jump in. We love chatting all your local sports, Nuggets, Avs, Broncos, Rockies, etc. But yeah.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flame out. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle. Wait a minute. Work hard for the car, so that's why it's all tinted. Wait a minute. Had a real late night, woke up with my